Only the dead have seen the end of war. Plato. This quote, often attributed to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, suggests a rather somber view of human nature and the perpetual state of conflict. It reflects on the idea that as long as humanity exists, conflicts and wars will continue to arise, and peace is only definitively found in death. It's important to note, however, that there is some debate among scholars about the authenticity of this quote being Plato's, as it has not been found in his existing works and was popularized in the 20th century. Regardless of its origin, the quote resonates with the understanding that war has been a constant presence throughout human history. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Plato. This quote encapsulates Plato's political philosophy regarding the responsibility of the citizenry in a functioning society. He posits that if individuals who are capable and good abstain from participating in the political process or engaging with societal issues, they leave a vacuum that can be filled by those of less noble intentions. In essence, Plato is asserting that active participation in governance and public discourse is essential to ensure that leadership is just and society is well ordered. Neglecting this duty can lead to the ascendancy of evil men, or those who rule for selfish or harmful ends. The quote serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of civic engagement and the consequences of apathy.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more valuable quotes from the legends.
The beginning is the most important part of the work. Plato. This quotation is reflective of Plato's emphasis on the foundational aspects of any endeavor. From the context of his philosophical teachings, Plato suggests that a strong start is crucial because it sets the direction and conditions for everything that follows. This can apply to a wide array of activities, including education, ethics, politics, and even personal pursuits. The idea is that a well-conceived beginning is essential for achieving success and ensuring that the subsequent process unfolds in a beneficial manner. This perspective encourages thorough planning, clear intention, and careful consideration at the outset of any project or work. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. Plato. This quote, often attributed to Plato, encourages empathy and compassion, recognizing that each person carries their own struggles, many of which might be invisible to others. It's a call to acknowledge that life's challenges are complex and to approach interactions with others with a sense of understanding and kindness. While the exact phrasing may not be found in Plato's documented works, and its attribution to him is debated, the sentiment aligns with the broader humanistic and ethical themes present in his philosophy. It reminds us to practice patience and kindness in our daily encounters, as these virtues can significantly impact the lives of those around us who may be dealing with difficulties we are unaware of. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. Plato. This famous quote is attributed to Socrates, Plato's mentor, and is relayed through Plato's dialogues, where he often features Socrates as a central character. The statement is a paraphrased version of what is known as the Socratic paradox, found in Plato's Apology, which details the defense speech Socrates gave at his trial. The quote embodies the Socratic method of inquiry and the philosophical mindset that true knowledge involves recognizing one's own ignorance. The sentiment behind this quote is a profound recognition of the limits of human knowledge and wisdom. It suggests that the first step to wisdom is the recognition of our own ignorance and the humility to understand that there is always more to learn. This paradoxical statement is at the heart of the philosophical pursuit of knowledge and is a cornerstone of the critical thinking that both Socrates and Plato championed. Love is a serious mental disease. Plato. This provocative statement reflects Plato's complex views on love, which he explores most notably in his work The Symposium. In this dialogue, various characters present different perspectives on the nature of love, or eros. While the phrase as quoted simplifies Plato's nuanced discussion, it touches on the idea that love can overwhelm rational thought and lead to irrational behavior, much like a mental affliction. It's important to understand that in the context of the Symposium, love is also depicted as a powerful force that can lead to philosophical enlightenment and the pursuit of beauty and truth. Thus, while Plato acknowledges the consuming and sometimes destabilizing effects of love, he also sees it as a potential catalyst for growth and self-improvement. As with many philosophical quotations, especially those concerning complex emotions such as love, it's crucial to consider the broader context in which the statement was made to fully grasp its intended meaning. Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. Plato. This quote encapsulates a key aspect of Plato's psychology. In his philosophy, Plato often discusses the tripartite nature of the soul, which he believes is divided into three parts: the rational, the spirited, and the appetitive. Each part is associated with different aspects of human behavior. Desire, appetitive. This part of the soul is related to our basic needs and wants, such as hunger, thirst, and sexual desire. It is the source of our appetites and drives for physical pleasures and material goods. Emotion, spirited. This is the part that is responsive to feelings of pride, anger, ambition, and competitive urges. It can be seen as the source of our emotions and passions, which can both conflict with and support the rational part. Knowledge, rational. The rational part is considered the highest aspect of the soul, which seeks truth and wisdom. It is responsible for logical thinking, judgment, and the pursuit of knowledge. Plato asserts that a well-balanced soul is one in which the rational part rules over the other two, with the spirited part helping to enforce the wisdom of the rational part on the appetitive. When these parts of the soul are in harmony, a person exhibits just behavior. However, if desire or emotion overrides reason, it can lead to disharmony and unjust actions. This understanding of human behavior underscores the importance of education and philosophical inquiry in achieving a virtuous and well-ordered life. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Plato. Plato, emphasizing the importance of wisdom and understanding over quantitative measures, makes a compelling point about the nature of decision-making. He suggests that the quality of a decision is not necessarily determined by the majority opinion or by numerical data alone, but by the depth of insight and knowledge behind it. In his dialogues, Plato often critiques the notion of democracy as ruled by the uneducated masses, proposing instead that those who are most knowledgeable and philosophically informed are best equipped to make decisions for the good of all. This perspective champions the idea that true knowledge, especially of the good and the just, should guide our choices rather than the preferences of the majority or the reliance on statistical information. This quote is a reminder to value expertise and informed understanding, especially in complex matters where the implications of a decision extend beyond what can be easily quantified or measured. It encourages a thoughtful approach to decision-making that goes beyond superficial considerations and looks to the underlying truths and principles. You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. Plato. This quote, though widely attributed to Plato, does not have a clear source in his documented works. Nonetheless, the idea it conveys resonates with some of the themes in Platonic philosophy. The quote suggests that play reveals character more truly and rapidly than discourse because it often brings out instinctive reactions and lowers the guards that people put up during conversation. In play, individuals are likely to act more naturally and show their true dispositions as they are engaged in the activity for enjoyment rather than being self-conscious about presenting themselves in a certain way. This can provide insights into a person's temperament, values, and personality that might take much longer to discern through dialogue alone. While it's uncertain whether Plato himself directly expressed this sentiment, the concept aligns with the overall Socratic Platonic principle that understanding the self is a critical part of philosophy, and observing actions, such as in play, can be a path to that understanding. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. Plato. This quote, while profound and in line with the kind of philosophical teachings one might associate with Plato, does not have a direct citation from his known works. It may be a paraphrase or a summary of broader themes that can be found in Platonic thought. The sentiment conveys the idea that having faith, whether in a religious, philosophical, or personal context, can be a source of strength and confidence that enhances one's ability to confront challenges. In terms of Platonic philosophy, faith could be interpreted more broadly as a belief in the forms, the good, or the justness of one's cause. Plato often emphasized the importance of aligning with higher truths and the good as a source of moral and philosophic strength. In this sense, fighting with faith could mean acting with conviction in the truth and justice of one's actions, which Plato would argue indeed makes one stronger or twice armed. As with many philosophical quotes, especially those attributed to figures from the distant past, it's vital to approach them with an understanding that the exact phrasing might not be historically documented, and the interpretation can vary depending on the context in which the quote is used. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Plato. This quote reflects a sentiment that aligns with Plato's thoughts on morality and society, although it is not a direct quote from his works. Plato's philosophy suggests that truly virtuous individuals act justly not because of legal constraints, but because of their character and understanding of what is good. He believed that a well-ordered soul leads to just actions, independent of external enforcement. On the other hand, Plato recognized that laws are necessary for the less virtuous, as not everyone possesses a well-ordered soul. However, he also acknowledged the limitations of laws, as those who are determined to act unjustly will attempt to circumvent them. In Plato's ideal society, as outlined in the Republic, the rulers would be philosopher kings, individuals who, through extensive education and moral development, understand the forms of goodness and justice and therefore rule in a way that is beneficial for all. In such a society, the need for laws would be minimized as the rulers would inherently act justly, and the citizens, guided by these philosopher kings, would aspire to do the same. Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything. Plato. This quote, while poetically expressive and resonant with Platonic thought, is not an exact citation from Plato's texts. However, Plato did indeed hold music in high regard, considering it not just an art form, but also a powerful force in the education and shaping of one's soul and character. In his works, particularly in the Republic, Plato discusses the importance of music in education and its influence on the development of virtues. He believed that music had the ability to harmonize the soul and had a direct impact on the emotional and moral character of individuals. According to Plato, the right kind of music could cultivate the right kind of person. It could teach moderation, courage, and temperance, and help achieve the balance between the different parts of the soul. The idea that music gives soul to the universe aligns with Plato's theory of forms, where he posits that non-material abstract forms, like goodness, beauty, and even musical harmony, represent the highest and most fundamental form of reality, in contrast to the material world that we perceive with our senses. Although the specific phrasing of the quote might be a modern interpretation or paraphrase, it captures the essence of what Plato believed about the transcendent value and ethical significance of music.